Hello my dear friends, welcome to the subject of statistics for the class 12 English medium part 1 chapter 2 linear correlation by Vitan sir. Today we will be studying some miscellaneous illustrations which will be the last tutorial for this chapter. Starting with illustration 26, we have to calculate the value of correlation coefficient from the given values. In the question, covariance xy is to sx square is equal to 3 is to 5 and sx is to sy is equal to 1 is to 2. These two values are given. Now as we know, the covariance sx square is to sx covariance xy is to sx square is 3 is to 5 and sx is to sy is 1 is to 2. So we can write it like this, that covariance xy upon sx square is equal to 3 upon 5 and sx upon sy is equal to 1 upon 2. Now we know that R is equal to covariance xy upon sx into sy. Now this is a formula which we already know. So what we are going to do, we are going to convert that formula into the formula which we can use from the given values. That is covariance xy upon sx square, which is given, into sx upon sy, which is also given. Now if we are wondering how can we solve this formula, you can cancel the sx into numerator with sx square into denominator and you will be left with covariance xy divided by sx into 1 upon sy. You will get your correlation coefficient formula. So now put the values which we have into this 2. That would be 3 upon 5 into 1 upon 2. That means 3 upon 10, that is 0.3. So this is the kind of sum which has been repeated so many times in the board exams. So remember this method. Next illustration is 27. Now in this question, n is 10, summation x minus x bar y minus y bar is 72, sx is 3 and summation y minus y bar square is 160. Now right now we need sy here to complete the sum. So what we are going to do, we are going to calculate sy, and the formula for sy is summation y minus y bar square upon n whole root. We have y minus y bar square, we have n, so 160 upon 10 is 16, root is 4, so sy is 4. So we are going to use the formula r is equal to x minus x bar y minus y bar upon n into sx into sy. You have to remember all the formulas, then only you can select the proper formula. If you try to recall each and every formula whenever you need them, you are going to lose a lot of time. You should have each and every formula perfectly memorized. Putting the values, 72 upon n is 10, sx is 3, sy we have calculated is 4. So that gives us 72 upon 120, which would be r is equal to 0.6. Illustration 28. Now this is a longer illustration. An educationalist has conducted an experiment to know the relation between usage of social media in mobile phone and the result of the examination. A group of 10 students is selected for this and the following results were obtained. The results are summation x, summation y, summation x square, summation y square and summation xy. But a pair of observation of xy was taken as 13 and 20 instead of 15 and 25. So this is a question of a correction method. You have to correct the answer. Right now, these are the available values. Incorrect pair is 13 and 20, which you will be removing from our answers. The correct pair is 15 and 25, which you will need to add into our answers. How? We will start with summation x. Summation x is 133. The incorrect pair x value is 13, which you will deduct, and correct pair x value is 15. In the pairs, the first is the x value, second is the y value. So here incorrect x is 13, correct x is 15. Remove 13, add 15, your answer is 135. Likewise, incorrect y is 20 and correct y is 25. So remove 20, add 25. Next is x square. So add the square of 15 and remove the square of 13 from the summation x square. So that way you will get your correct x square value. Likewise, the summation y square. So remove 20 square and add 25 square. because incorrect pair is 20 and correct pair is 25. So remove 20 square, add 25 square, your new value will be 6725. Now summation xy, that means remove the multiplication of the incorrect pair, that is 13 into 20, and add the multiplication of correct pair, that is 15 into 25. So remove 13 into 20, that is 260, and add 15 into 25, that is 375. That way you will get your new answer, correct value 3615. We will start by substituting all this correct value into our formula. The formula, as you know, the xy formula, n summation xy minus summation x summation y divided by under root n summation x square minus summation x the whole square into under root n summation y square minus summation y the whole square. Putting the new values into our equation, multiplying the necessary values, subtracting the three pairs of the observations, multiplying the under root values, finding the root of those values, dividing the answer, and rounding it off to 0.59. So the correct value of correlation coefficient is 0.59. Illustration 29. Now in this question, the first question is that correlation coefficient between x and y is given, that is 0.5, and we have to find the value of the three questions. What if r is x negative y, r is negative xy, and r is negative x negative y? Now remember the property of the correlation coefficient. In that there is one property which says that if the signs are changed, the last property, that if the signs are changed, the sign of the answer will change, nothing else will be there. That means if rx negative y is taken, that means our correlation coefficient will be negative. Same ways, if r negative x is taken, then again our correlation coefficient will be negative. But if both the observations are taken negative, negative negative makes it positive. So our correlation coefficient will be as it is, it will be positive 0.5. So with the change in sign, we will only change the sign of the correlation coefficient. Based on this property, one more question is there. Rxy is 0.8 and we have to find RUV for the following questions. The first sub question for that is x is negative x minus 10 and v is y plus 10. Now here it doesn't matter whether we add, subtract, multiply or divide. We just have to check what are the signs of x and y. Right now you can see for u x is positive and for v y is also positive. That means our answer will not change. Answer will be 0.8. Answer will be either positive or negative. There will not be any change in the value. It will not be multiplied, divided, added or subtracted. The second question, u is x minus 5 upon 3 and v is 2y plus 7. Here multiplication, division, addition, subtraction doesn't matter. X and y both are positive. So our answer will be still positive. For the third one, 2x, x is positive, but 10 minus y, here the sign of y has been changed. The y is negative here, so our answer will be negative 0.8. In the fourth one, x is negative and the y is positive. That means x has a negative sign, y has a positive sign. Negative, positive makes it a negative answer, so our answer will be negative 0.8. And the last one, x is negative, y is negative, both the observations have become negative here, so negative negative makes it a positive answer, so our answer will be 0.8. In none of these questions the multiplication, the addition, the subtraction and the divisions matter. Our answer will either be positive or negative. It's nothing else will change. For the correlation, in the next chapter we might study something like this in which we have to change, but for the correlation chapter, the R chapter, we are not changing anything. Illustration 30. Now this is a bit long question. A project was conducted for the group of students of MBA to know the relation between result of the final year and the final year of graduation, that is the schooling year result and the graduation year result. Now marks in standard 12th is x and graduation is y. We have the data and is 10 summation x minus 65. Usually we have x minus x bar or x minus a, but right now only value is given as 65. The answer is negative 2. y minus 60 is positive 2, x minus 65 square, y minus 60 square, x minus 65 into y minus 60. So there are two options. Either this is x minus x bar y minus y bar formula, or this is u v u square v square and uv formula. So right now we have two options in front of this. Let us check what happens. Right now x minus 65 is negative 2, which is not equal to 0. Why am I suggesting this? Because our rule is x minus x bar should be 0. That also means that if we deduct a certain value from x and if we get a 0, then that certain value should be x bar. Right now x minus 65 is not 0. That means 65 is not x bar. Therefore, we will take 65 as an assumed value, that means a. Similarly, y minus 60 is 2, which is again not 0. When we take this value as not 0, we assume 60 as b, and that means u will be x minus 65 and v will be y minus 60. That just means that this is not x bar y bar but uv method. X minus 65 will be taken as summation u, y minus 60 will be taken as summation v, x minus 65 square will be taken as summation u square, y minus 60 square will be taken as summation v square, and x minus 65 into y minus 60 will be taken as summation u into v. Now when we have all the 5 necessary totals of the columns, we can start with our formula of uv method. N summation uv minus summation u into summation v divide by under root n summation u square minus summation u the whole square into under root n summation v square minus summation v the whole square. Putting the values, 10 into 141 minus negative 2 into 2 divided by under root 10 into 176 minus negative 2 square into under root 10 into 140 minus 2 square. Now keeping in mind the changes in the signs and multiplying the values, we get something like this. We will be multiplying the under root values and getting the roots, dividing the values and rounding off the answer. R is equal to 0.90. Are you getting this? So when direct x minus values are given, we have to decide first whether that is an x bar or a. When y minus direct value is given, we have to decide whether it is a y bar or b. If it is x bar and y bar both, then use the x bar y bar method. If even one value is not a mean, not an average, you have to use the uv method. Moving on to the illustration 31. In this question, summation x, summation y, x minus 10 square, y minus 15 square, x minus 10 into y minus 15. These values are available. First, we will calculate x bar and y bar. The x bar is 14, the y bar is 15. Now as you can see, x minus 10 is given in the question, while our x bar is 14. That means summation x minus 10 square is not x minus x bar square. Rather, it is x minus a, that is x minus 10. Now when we are assuming u, the y should always be assumed as v. Even if the y bar is 15 and in the question y minus 15 is given, because the first variable, the x variable is assumed as u, we have to assume the second variable as v. So right now we will be using the uv method, because if both of them are x bar and y bars, then only you can use the x bar y bar method. If even one of them is an assumed value, you have to use u and v method. We will be checking out which values are available. The x minus 10 is summation u square, y minus 15 square is summation v square, x minus 10 into y minus 15 is summation uv. Now you remember, we need 5 things. U square, v square, uv is available. What we don't have is summation u and summation v. Now for that we have a special formula here. Summation u is summation x minus tan is summation x minus summation tan, that is summation x minus n into 10. Now right now summation x is 140 and n is 10. So 140 minus 10 into 10, that would be 140 minus 100, that would be 40. This is the formula. Summation x minus 10, when you open the brackets, it becomes summation x minus summation 10. Summation x is 140, that we know, while summation 10 means 10 n times. N is 10, so 10 tens are 100. So 140 minus 100 is 40. So summation u is 40. Likewise, summation v, that is summation y minus 15, that is summation y minus summation 15. Summation y is 150. We already know that. Summation 15 means 15 into n, that is 150. So 150 minus 150 is 0. So right now the remaining two columns, summation u is 40, summation v is 0. We have got the 5 necessary values. We will substitute it with the formula. Put the formula, write down the values, multiply and square them, deduct the values. Once you deduct the values, multiply the values under root, find the under root value, divide it and find the round off value. So R is 0.92. Now this is how you calculate a conversion of regular values into U and V values. Please replay this video 2 to 3 times to understand this method, because this kind of sums have been there in the board exams many times. Last illustration, to know the relation between the ability in two different subjects for the students. A sample of 7 students is taken from a school. From the information of marks in 2 subjects for 7 students, it is known that the sum of squares of differences in the ranks of these marks is 25.5. That means n is 7 and summation d square is 25.5. Now it is known that 2 students got equal marks in one subject. We know that whenever there are equal marks, that is equal ranks, we have to calculate the CF, correction factor. Now right now it is given that the 2 values were similar. So our correction factor will be 2 cube minus 2 upon 12. When 2 values are similar, we use the 2 cube. When 3 values are similar, we will take 3. So right now our correction factor is 0.5. We have got n summation d square and the correction factor. We can start by writing down our formula. In our formula, we will be incorporating the CF value as 6 brackets summation d square plus CF. Putting the necessary available values into the formula, we get 1 minus 6 into 26 upon 336. Solving it, we get 1 minus 156 upon 336. That would be 1 minus 0.4643. That would be 0.5357. And the answer, the round off answer is 0.54. So here our final illustration for the chapter 2 ends. Your homework will be all the sums of this tutorial twice, as usually we have been doing since the very first tutorial, and the final exercise of this chapter you have to do on your own. Next time we will be discussing the chapter number 3, linear regression. Now, as I have told you guys, when I will get enough time, I will be publishing the solutions for the first and second chapters final exercises. But till then, do it on your own, complete them, and if you have any doubts, then contact me and I will be solving your doubts. Stay home, stay safe, see you soon.